Hello everybody, it's Max McAllister back with another edition of Cycle with Max. Today's topic is one that I hope you'll never have to actually apply, but we're going to talk about how to check your bike over after you've had a spill or a crash or an accident. We're going to hope that this never happens to any of you, but the odds are that it can happen, particularly if you ride in groups and people around you may do things that can start a crash or cause a crash, and you may end up in the crash. So we're going to assume that you're able to stand up, you got 10 fingers and 10 toes and everything still works, and you got your wits about you. Okay, so obviously if you need medical attention, we're not going to be worried about your bike. So we're going to assume that you're okay. You haven't hit your head hard enough that you require medical attention, your helmet's not significantly damaged, that kind of stuff. And we just want to make sure that you can get home safely. So given that you're okay and you have your wits about you, you want to check your bike over before you pedal away. So a couple things you're going to do is I like to just start at the front and move to the back. And so if I were to have crashed my bike, I'm going to pick it up and just take a look at it. Is it still in one piece? Of course, yes it is. We're good to go. We need to know if we're going to start at the front wheel. Is the wheel straight? So just lift up and spin your wheel. Now at this point I can see if my wheel spins straight, if my wheel's been bent. I can hear if my brakes are dragging, and that applies to a disc brake or rim brake bike because they can be jolted. If you have a disc brake bike, as long as the wheel still spins basically freely, even if it's making a ching, ching, ching sound, you're going to be okay to go home. But if the wheel won't spin freely, then you're stuck. On a rim brake bike, you're just going to grab the two sides of the brake, pull it open, and then center the caliper back over the tire. Always check by pulling the brake and releasing it to make sure that it's centered and the pads are off when you're done. If your handlebars have been knocked out of alignment with your front wheel, it's not like the bikes you rode when you were a kid that have a thing called a gooseneck where you just grab it and yank and twist on it. You're going to need to loosen the bolts on your stem. So hopefully you have a multi-tool with you or a friend has one. Loosen the bolts on your stem, realign the handlebars, and retighten the bolts. You do not want to twist the handlebars. If you have a carbon fiber fork, which most modern road bikes do, you can twist and break and crack the steerer, and it's obviously disastrous. Loosen the hardware, realign it. You need to make sure your hand controls are still intact. Odds are one or the other will be knocked in and out of place. Now, you can take these and kind of give them a really firm push. You may even have to whack it a little bit. Depending on the multi-tool you have and your mechanic skill level, you can pull this back, look for the bolt, loosen the bolt, and realign your lever if you have to. Your goal is to kind of get it home to where you can take a more thorough look at the bike or get it to your bike shop. So get your controls back into position if you can, if they've been knocked out. Take a quick look at both of your pedals. Do they spin? Are they broken? Make sure your crank still moves and nothing's crazy there. You're going to pick up your rear wheel and do the same test. Does my brakes drag? Is my wheel straight? All right. Saddle, is it broken? Is it still intact? Is everything okay? All right, and now we're going to get to the most important part, which is highly likely to be damaged if you've fallen on the right side of your bike, and that's your rear derailleur. So this is the most fragile part on your bicycle, and what's likely to happen is if it's taken an impact, it's going to be bent in. It's very rare to find one bent out. Almost always going to be bent in. Now, there's a piece here that's designed to break and bend on your bike called your derailleur hanger. It's designed to take the load and not damage your frame. So it may be that your derailleur hanger is damaged badly and you're going to have a difficult time getting home. So what you'd like to do is have a friend just hold your seat up while you pedal and change gears. So just so you can check that the bike changes gears. So most importantly, if you've hit your derailleur, is going to be the last cogs, because your bike will want to drop the chain off of the inside. So your bike's adjusted so that when you shift gears, it stops here and won't go any further and won't fall off. But if you bend it out of alignment, now it thinks that stop is over here. So you can drop your chain in over here. If it tries to do that, since you're doing it without riding it, you're just watching for it. If it tries to drop off the inside, just stop, shift back down the cassette a little bit, because we're just trying to get you back to your house. So we're just trying to get you back to your house. So if your bike's going to do that, try and avoid bending it out if at all possible, because you can do more damage to the derailleur when the only thing damaged is a $20 derailleur hanger. You don't want to wreck your $100 or $300 derailleur. So try and avoid bending the derailleur if you have to. And then just keep note in your mind that you can't shift into your easiest gear, or otherwise it's going to fall off and you'll really make a mess while you're pedaling if you have force on the pedals and the chain falls off to the inside. So it's very, 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 very rare that you're going to bend or mess up your front derailleur. So that's least likely to happen, and you don't really need it to get home anyway. As long as your bike will stay on one of the chain rings, you're good to go. So those are the things you check over and the things you do on the side of the road if you had an accident. Again, hopefully that never happens to you, and you don't have to apply any of these things. But you still need to know them just in case. And you might be able to help somebody who doesn't know. So it's very valuable to kind of practice this little procedure of looking over a bike that I just explained and know it, so that if the opportunity ever comes up, you're able to help yourself or help someone else. So this is Max. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back with more videos soon.